Hi, my name is Tom Draper. I play lead guitar in Spirit Adrift. I'm going to show you the stuff I'm using on this tour. If you look down here, we will see the Amp 1 Iridium made by Thomas Blug and his wonderful company Blue Guitar. Now this is a 100 watt amplifier, believe it or not. I have this set up on preset mode, which means that I've got a clean channel on there, I've got a rhythm channel on there, and a lead channel on there. It kind of sounds a bit like a 5150, I guess, or a really juiced Marshall. I've also managed to get reverb pre-programmed onto the lead channel and a noise gate pre-programmed onto the rhythm channel, which is important because, you know, when you're playing heavy riffs, you don't want to get a load of feedback squealing out when you're supposed to be quiet. It's a bit strange because we have got two lovely 5153 heads on the road and I'm not using mine. There's kind of a test to see how the Amp 1 holds up, because I've played a lot of 5150s before, I love them. I think this is doing a very good job of doing kind of the same thing. It doesn't have quite the same girth and character, but once it's going through a PA, like in a full band setting, I think it sounds basically the same. We are carrying both EVHs from an aesthetic perspective because, you know, Nate and I are kind of doing like a black and white, good and evil thing on stage. It's Nate's gear, honestly. He wanted to bring it, we got a trailer, we got a van. I told him I was going to use this and he's like, cool, we'll still bring it. And, you know, if the feeling takes me one night, I might use that instead. But for now, it's going to be the Amp 1. This is a Gibson Les Paul Custom in Alpine White, but here's the twist. It's tiny. It's a Les Paul Custom Light. It weighs about the same as a Gibson SG. The reason for this is because my shoulder hurts. I've been playing very heavy guitars for about 25 years and it's taken its toll. But I still love the way the neck feels, I love the look. It just feels like exactly the right guitar for me to play a Les Paul. And when I found out these things existed, I got on the Guitar Center website. One of my friends who was working there helped me get one. I bought this one only about a month ago. This one's very new. Not a new guitar, let's see, 2016 I think. But I absolutely love it. The neck feels incredible. It's a really, really comfortable guitar to play. The pickups are Bill Steer's signature custom humbuckers, which are made by a company called Monty's Pickups, based out of London, England. Maybe it's somewhere in Essex now, I forget. They're in England, definitely. I've got their pickups in quite a few of my guitars. Their PAFs are great as well. Their Telecaster pickups are great. I find the Bill Steer pickups are really good for this particular gig, Spirit Adrift, because, you know, Bill had them designed so that he could use them in his guitars for playing with Carcass, like in B standard tuning, but also with Gentleman's Pistols, which is, you know, E flat or E, I forget. But, you know, if you just roll down the volume a little bit, you get a nice clean sound. My default setting will be tone on 10, volume on 10, bridge pickup. Like just classic, like hard rock, heavy metal. I'll switch to the neck pickup, which will be on 10 and 10 as well for some of the clean sections in the set. And it'll be a clean guitar with a lot of chorus on it. If it feels like it's giving a bit too much, I'll roll it back, but for the most part it's on 10. The most athletic thing I do with my pickups during the set is in the song Divided by Darkness. Like we're on the bridge pickup and we're like riffing out really heavy for the first 3 minutes or so. Then there's a sudden stop and I've got to come in hot with a solo. So what I'll do is during the chorus before, I'll roll down the volume on the neck while I'm still on the bridge. So as soon as we hit the stop, I've got that. And then the first note of the solo, I'm pre-picking and then fading in the first note. That's as clever as I get. The rest of the time it's always on full, really. The strings are Ernie Ball, skinny top, heavy bottom, I think, 10 to 52, which is probably a little light for the tuning we're playing in, which is drop B. But literally when they asked me if I wanted to do the gig, I had this guitar set up in standard tuning with these strings on it. So I just wound them down and was like, oh, it works. Like, tuning stability seems fine, you know, that's the nice Grover machine heads, I guess. I always stretch in the strings as much as I possibly can. I've not got a lot of pedals in my rig. First and foremost, polytune with a buffer. That's the most important thing. I don't really care about the buffer. Someone told me I should buy it, so I did. I've written down, I actually printed out a label with the tuning that we're in, because these are not the notes that I always think of when I look at a tuner. I'm expecting EAD, GBE. So yeah, I use that a lot. This is the most fun pedal on the board, probably, the Schaefer replica made by Solo Dallas. If you're watching this and you don't know the story of the Schaefer replica, I very highly suggest you go and check it out, because it's cool. Long story short, sorry, short story long. No, long story short. Let's go with that. It's the thing that gave Angus Young like his tone, like back in the 70s. It's I don't know exactly what it does, but it replicates what one of the very early first generation guitar wireless systems did. It does something to the sound. I think companding. It's like, that's a word that they've used. I don't entirely understand what it means. It just gives it a little bit of sizzle. It gives it a bit more balls. Doesn't act exactly like a tube screamer, but I use it in the same way that I would use a tube screamer. Like if I need some like feedback to ring out, if I want a bit of extra sustain, if I'm playing a solo, any of those times the Schaefer goes on. If it's a staccato part or a part where I need to be clean or very sudden stops, it's off. I do actually use it for the clean sections in this set because it kind of gives the clean this slight, it's not crunch, but it's like a slightly broken up clean, and with the chorus as well, which is an X pedal. I don't know, I really like the way those sound together. This is a pedal I've had for a really, really long time. I've never used it for any gigs until this tour, but one of the things I've always liked about Spirit Adrift's guitar parts is there are a lot of effects on the cleans. You know, he's not afraid to like heavily chorus clean parts when necessary. And when he and I played them together in unison, it's kind of got a like Metallica's clean sound feel to it almost. Like it's not as clean as like a Roland Jazz chorus would be, but it serves the songs really well in the way that we're playing them. So that goes on quite a bit. And when we play the song Sorcerer's Fate, I use it on my Dirty channel as well for the main melody, just to give it that real like over-the-top Maiden Somewhere in Time kind of feel. That's what it makes me think of. Last but not least, the MXR Phase 90. I guess this is the script version. I don't know why I chose that rather than the other. It certainly wasn't based on any research. But I think the reason I got it, I was playing with a band called Angel Witch a long time ago, and the previous guitar player in the band told me, I asked him what pedals he used, and he was like, oh, I've got a tuner, a boost, and a Phase 90. It's like, I'm getting a Phase 90. And I love it. I'll jump on it for a couple of solos. Sometimes we're like beginning the set with a little bit of a like fade in and like kind of thing. That's a great time to use it. Like anytime we're in like a feedback section or something, it doesn't happen super often in this set. But yeah, throwing it on for leads is fun. So the picks that I'm using are it's a Dunlop Flow 1.5. I can't remember how these came into my life, but they did, and I loved them instantly. I was always one of the standard like 1mm black Dunlop players. I fucked with Jazz Freeze for a little while. I messed around with Jazz Freeze for a little while, and I don't know, these ones just totally suit my playing. Except I do a lot of alternate picking in my playing, and just I love the way it kind of bounces up and down off the strings, just with the kind of thickness of the pick. It really suits. I love it. And I've got some other picks that I give to people, which are very skinny little blue ones. I don't have one on me right now, but they say Spirit Adrift on them. But I don't play with them. Like, I need something with a little bit more thickness in the playing. So yeah, thoroughly recommend checking these out if you've never played one before. If you want to hear more, www.spiritadrift.com, and Spirit Adrift's on all the social media platforms. I also play in a band called Pounder. You can find that as Pounder Heavy Metal on any of the social media platforms, and a band called Hands of Goro. Again, I think we're on the social medias. Come out to a show.